Curriculum mapping is our solution to the complex problem of ensuring your courses meet accreditation standards. We offer the ability to track the content of courses across multiple levels using course measures, standards, attributes, and tags. Once curriculum mapping is configured, you will be able to run numerous reports to aggregate this data and present it to your accreditation body. In this tutorial, we will cover how to first set up standards, measures, and attributes, build a curriculum grid, perform curriculum mapping, and run curriculum mapping reports. To set up standards, click on the Program Details section of your dashboard or upper left-hand menu. Then select the Standards tab. We will preload the latest version of standards relevant to your domain in the Accreditation and Professional Standards section. To view the standards added, select one of the options in the Accreditation and Professional Standards section. You will then see a list of standards and parent standards appear. Expand a parent standard header by clicking on the expand icon to the left of the parent standard's name. You can then view the standards listed below the header. There may be additional children standards within a child standard. Click the expand button on every header to view the comprehensive list of standards. To activate a set of standards for use in curriculum mapping, click on the Activate button. To deactivate a set of previously activated accreditation or professional standard, click on the pencil icon to the right of the standard's name, then toggle the Activate Standard bit off. Please note that if this standard has been mapped, curriculum mapping data related to this standard will be lost. You can also edit the name of a standard using the standard name text box. Be sure to save once finished. To export this standard in the Excel format for offline access, click on the export icon to the right of the pencil icon. To add additional standards not related to accreditation, you can add them in the Program-Specific Standards section. This section is used to add all the other additional standards a school would like to map with, which are not accreditation standards. For example, you can add program learning outcomes, student learning outcomes, and program goals in the Program-Specific Standards section. To add a program-specific standard, click on the plus icon in the Program-Specific Standards section. You can then provide a name for this set of standards and click the Save button. Select the newly added standard set. You can then add a new standard by clicking on the Add Standard button. Assign the standard a standard code. You can use any alphanumeric code you so please. Please note that you do not need to add a period at the end of a standard code. The system will automatically add a period for you. In the Standard Description section, you will provide the actual standard you are adding. In the Annotations section, you can provide notes about the standard you are adding. Be sure to save once finished. You can then view the information added to the standard by clicking on the standard's name. You can view the notes, or make changes to the standard code, description, or annotations. To delete a previously added standard, click on the vertical ellipses in the upper right-hand corner of the window, then select the Delete button. To add a child standard to a previously added standard, click on the plus icon to the left of the standard's name. You can then add the information for the standard. Child standards conventionally include the parent standard code and then an additional identifier. For example, if the parent standard code was set to be 1, the child standard code should be set up as 1A. Be sure to save the child standard once you are finished. You can then add a child standard of a child standard using the plus icon to the left of the child standard's name. You can add as many child standards as needed. To rearrange standards added, you can drag and drop the standard using the double ellipses, or click on the up and down arrow icons. To edit the standard set's title, click on the pencil icon to the right of the set of standards name. You can then change the name and save it. To export this list of standards in the Excel format, click on the export icon to the right of the pencil icon. To delete an added set of program-specific standards, click on the trash bin icon to the right of the set of standards name. You will then need to enter the number displayed on the screen to confirm you would like to delete this set of standards. Please note that if you have performed curriculum mapping with this set of standards, you will not be able to delete this set. Click on the Courses option from the upper left-hand menu. The academic calendar, courses, and course offerings must be set up to perform curriculum mapping. For more information on how to set up the course academic calendar, courses, and course offerings, please watch our Setting Up and Managing Courses tutorial. Click on the Setup tab and click on the Measures option. Course measures are the different categories within your syllabi or curriculum to define the student objectives, goals, or outcomes. Some schools call their course measures course objectives, others may call them instructional and lecture objectives. The course measures section is used to house the names of the course measures you will use. Once you add your course measures to this list, you can then enter the entries for each course measure within the course page. We recommend having a distinct and minimal list of course measures added here, as curriculum mapping can get confusing if you use interchangeable terms for course measures. Also, please note that the system will automatically prevent you from adding duplicate course measures. To add a course measure, click on the plus icon in the course measures section. A window will appear for you to name the new course measure. Make sure the active bit is turned on to allow course measure entries to be added at the course level for this new measure. To make changes to a previously added course measure, click on the pencil icon, then make your changes and save it once again. Now that we have configured the course measure titles and course offerings, we will then set up the course and measure attributes and mapping attributes. Navigate to the curriculum mapping section using the upper left-hand hamburger menu and select the attribute option from the left-hand menu. It is completely optional to set up attributes, but it can be used as an additional tool to track curriculum in the system. Attributes help you keep track of how courses are taught, how courses are assessed, or how your students progress in your program. We will provide some default attributes for you which are specific to your discipline. Attributes are split up into two categories: course and measure attributes and mapping attributes. Course attributes are assigned at a higher level in the mapping process and therefore provide a bird's-eye view. For example, you can use the lifespan attribute at the course level to keep track of the age demographic of patients attended to in a course. Measure level attributes can be used when a school needs to keep track of how each objective or outcome within the course is being assessed. Schools can then get a detailed level of reporting on these course measure attributes. To add a course and measure attribute, click on the plus icon in the respective section. You will then enter the name of the attribute in the category text box. Also indicate whether you would like this attribute to be active or not. You may want to deactivate an attribute if you are no longer using the attribute but you would like to keep the history of its use in the system. To add options for the attribute, select the horizontal ellipses for the respective attribute. Then select the Add Child button. You can then enter the name of this attribute option in the name text box. Entries here are what you will assign to a course or measure when mapping curriculum. For example, if we configure the attribute to be named lifespan, we can enter infants, children, adolescents, adults and older adults as children of this lifespan attribute. When you are ready, click on the Save button. To edit an attribute category or option, click on the respective pencil icon. You can then make the necessary changes and save when you are finished. To delete an attribute category or option, click on the vertical ellipses and select the Delete option. Mapping attributes are used to track student progress on a more micro level. Mapping attributes are assigned to standards as they are mapped to courses and course measures. For example, if you want to keep track of how a standard relates to student knowledge when standards are mapped to course measures, add knowledge as a mapping attribute and assign introduce, reinforce and demonstrate as children to the knowledge attribute category. You can add, edit and delete mapping attributes the same way as you do for course and measure attributes. Now that you have set up courses, course measures, standards, and attributes, it is now possible to build a curriculum. Curriculums are grids used to aggregate courses for which to map standards to. You will be able to run reports across a curriculum grid, but you cannot run reports on multiple grids simultaneously. Please keep this in mind while you are creating a curriculum grid. To add a new curriculum grid, click on the Add Curriculum button. You can then provide a name for the curriculum in the name box. Schools with lockstep programs often use curriculum to keep track of student progress for a cohort of students. Non-lockstep programs often use curriculum to keep track of groups of courses within an academic year. Whichever way you choose to use curriculum, you can use this curriculum to map standards and run reports. Therefore, lockstep schools commonly use the name of the cohort for the curriculum name. You can also provide a description for this curriculum in the description text area below. When you are ready, click on the Next button. You will then need to select the courses you would like to add to this curriculum. You can search for specific courses using the course number or course name. You can also filter out courses by selecting an academic year, professional year, section, term, or cohort. Once you have provided some search options, click on the Search Record button. A list of courses will appear on the right-hand table. The table will display the course number, course name, course academic schedule, and cohort assigned to the course. Select the courses you want to include in the curriculum. To select all the courses displayed in the table, click on the checkbox in the upper left-hand corner of the table. Once you are done selecting courses, click on the Next button. Next, you will need to define how you plan to map your standards to your selected courses. In the Course Measures section, you can define which course measures you will use in this curriculum. Click on the Add or Edit Course Measures button in the Select Course Measures section. All the active course measures added to the Course Measures section of the Courses section will appear in this list, and all these measures will initially be activated. You can deactivate course measures using the bit next to the measure's name if you feel that these measures do not apply to this curriculum specifically. The order of these course measures is reflected in the Measure section within Courses and the Mapping page of Courses. You can reorder course measures using the up and down arrows or double ellipses. If you plan on associating attributes with course measures, click on the Attributes drop-down and select the attributes you would like to assign to these measures. Please note that you are not assigning specific attributes to specific measures here, instead you are choosing which types of attributes you would like to assign to your course measures later on. Once you have made your selections, click on the Save button. You are now ready to choose how you would like to map standards to your courses. Click on the Select Standards for Mapping button. In the Mapping From section, you will select whether you would like to map your standards to your course or specific course measures. Again, by mapping standards to the entire course, you can track student progress at a more macro level, and mapping standards to course objectives is a detailed method. In the Mapping To section, you can then choose the set of standards you would like to map to your course or course objectives. Lastly, in the Attributes section, indicate what attributes you would like to capture while you are mapping standards. Click on the Add button once you are finished. You can add multiple mapping instances to this list. If you, for example, would like to map the entire course to multiple standards, choose the entire course in the Mapping From section, the first standard in the Mapping To section, and select the attributes you would like to capture. Then click on the Add button. Next, add a second mapping entry where you select the whole course in the Mapping From section and the second standard in the Mapping To section. When you are ready, click on the Save button. A table will then appear in the Select Standards for Mapping section detailing how standards are set up to be mapped with the course and course objectives. At the bottom of the page, click on the plus icon to select the attributes you would like to assign to courses. For example, if you would like to capture lifespan and assessment methods at the course level, select these two attributes, then click on the Save button. Once you are done configuring standards and attributes, click on the Next button. You will then be taken to a preview of the curriculum grid you have set up. Courses will be aggregated first based on academic and professional years, then the courses will be grouped together by term. You can always go back to any of the previous sections and change any information if necessary. If the curriculum grid preview looks correct, then click on the Save button. Please note that you can always go back and edit the curriculum if necessary. Click on a curriculum from the left-hand menu to view the courses added to the curriculum. To the right of a course name, there may be a brown P indicator assigned. This brown P indicates that the course is placement-related. To edit a curriculum, click on the pencil icon next to the curriculum's name. You can then make any changes to the name, description, courses, or mapping setup of the curriculum. To delete a curriculum, click on the trash bin icon. Now that the curriculum is set up for your set of courses, you can set up your course information. Click on a course name to enter the course page. We will only cover how to set up the sections of your course related to curriculum mapping in this tutorial. Please watch our Setting Up Courses tutorial for more information on how to set up the other sections of the course. You can assign attributes to courses, set up the course event schedule, add course measures to courses, and perform curriculum mapping. You will need to complete this setup individually for all of the courses in the curriculum. Click on the pencil icon in the Attributes section to assign attributes to this course. The attributes you are able to select from here are contingent upon which attributes you activated in the system for that curriculum. Click on the drop-down for an attribute, then select the values of the attribute you would like to assign to the course. For example, if students will work with infants and children in this course, select the lifespan drop-down and select the infants and children values. Be sure to save once finished. In the Event Schedule section, you can plan scheduled events for the course. The event schedule can be used as a course calendar to keep track of the lectures or weekly topics that will be covered in the course. Events added to the event schedule can be linked with measures to keep track of how the two are related. Students cannot view the event schedule. This section is mainly used for your own reference or for collaborating with course faculty. Let's say you want course faculty to be aware of a planned exam day. You could then add a course event to the course event schedule for this exam. To add a course event, click on the Add Event button in the upper right-hand side of the table. You can then add a title for the event, a date for which the event is planned to take place, and a start time and an end time for the event. In the Faculty section, select any faculty members who will be involved in the event. Select the faculty drop-down and make your selections. You can select more than one faculty to assign to a single event. In the Location text box, enter the location where the event will take place. For example, if this event will take place in a classroom, enter the hall and classroom number where the event will take place. In the Reference Materials section, you can upload relevant reference material using the Browse to Upload section. This may be a copy of a practice test or lecture subject material. To upload relevant reference materials, first take note of the supported file types and size limits below, then click on the Browse to Upload section. You can then provide notes about the reference material uploaded in the reference material text area. Be sure to click the Save button when you are finished. To make changes to a previously added event, click on the pencil icon in the right-hand side of the table. To delete a previously added event, click on the trash bin icon to the right of the pencil icon. You will then need to enter the number on the screen and select the Confirm button to confirm you would like to delete this entry. Lastly, you can search for specific events using the search box in the upper left-hand side of the table. We will now add course measures to this course. These course measures may be used to map to specific standards depending on how you set up your curriculum. Click on the Measures section from the left-hand menu. To add a course measure, click on the plus icon next to that course measure's name. You can then enter a code for the course measure. You can use any alphanumeric code that makes sense for you and your program. We recommend that you use this code sequentially, such as 1 for the first, 2 for the second, and so on. You will then type the description of this course measure in the description text box. This description will appear when this measure is displayed. You will need to provide a code and description of the measure before you can save it. You can also provide notes on this measure in the Notes text area. Below the Notes section, there will be drop-downs for the attributes set up for this measure. Click on an attribute drop-down and select an attribute if you would like to associate it with this course measure. It is also possible to associate tags with a measure. Measure tags are used for internal communication purposes. For example, if a faculty member is adding a new measure and the curriculum committee needs to approve it, then the faculty member can assign the Needs Review Measure tag to this measure. You can generate a report to view all the Needs Review Measure tags, view the tags that need review, and change the status of these tags once they are reviewed. To add a measure tag, click on the plus icon in the Tags section, then select a tag to assign a tag. If you would like to add a new tag, click on the Add New Tag button. You can then provide a name and color for your tag. To select a color, click on the Color Palette button. You can then select a color. Once you are done, click Add. If you would like to edit any existing tags, click on the pencil icon to the right of the tag. You can then change the name or color of this tag and save it. After you have made your selections, click on the Apply button. The tags will then be added to the measure. Lastly, it is possible to upload a related document, such as an artifact or evidence that supports the mapping of attributes and standards to this measure. To upload a related document, check the supported file types and size limits, then click on the Browse to Upload button and select the document you would like to upload. Once you are finished, click on the Save button. This measure will then be added to the selected course measures. To edit a previously added course measure, click on the pencil icon next to that measure. You can then make the necessary changes and save once finished. To delete a course measure entry, click on the pencil icon, then select the vertical ellipses in the upper right-hand corner of the page, then select the delete option. To add a child measure to a course measure, click on the horizontal ellipses on the right-hand side of the course measure, then select the Add Child button. Child measures are used when measures can be categorized into submeasures. You can then enter a code and description for the child measure. If you want to add notes, assign attributes, assign tags, or upload a related document to the child measure, you will need to click on the pencil icon to do so. Be sure to save once you are finished. If you have a course measure interrelated with other course measures or events, you can link these measures and events in this section too. This can be useful, for example, if you have a specific learning outcome which has objectives and events which helped you achieve that particular outcome. Measures cannot be linked with other measures added to the same category. Click on the link icon, you can then select which course events and other course measures you would like to link to that measure. Click on the Save button once you are finished. It is possible to keep track of measure linking using the various reports in our system. Click on a course measure to view the measure-related information on the right-hand side of the page. You can view the assigned attributes, tags, related documents, and linked measures and events. Click on the View Document hyperlink to view the related document. If you would like to reorder the previously added course measures of a course measure category, click on the Reorder button for a measure category. You can then use the up and down arrows or drag and drop the measures to reorder them. Be sure to save once finished. To delete all added course measures of a given category, click on the Delete All button. Please keep in mind that if you have performed curriculum mapping on any measure in this measure category, this mapping data will be lost. After you have added all your course measures, you can now map your courses to standards. There are a few ways to get to the curriculum mapping page for a course. If you are already within a course, you can click on the Go to Mapping button on the upper right-hand side of the page. You can also get to the curriculum mapping page for a course by navigating to the curriculum grid, hovering over a course, then clicking on the mapping icon. On the mapping page for a course, you will see your course measures listed on the left-hand side of the screen. Each course measure category will have a helpful count displaying how many measures have been mapped. Above the list of measure categories, you will see an option to map the entire course. Click on the Map Entire Course option. If you plan to capture student progress at the more global course level and have selected standards to be mapped to courses, when setting up the curriculum you can then perform this mapping. There will be a section for the attributes assigned to the course and a section for the list of standards on the right-hand side of the table. Click on the Expand button in the Course Level Attributes section to view the attributes you have assigned to the course when you are on the course page. You can add or edit these attributes by clicking on the Add or Edit Attributes button. You can then select the attributes you would like to associate with the course. If you have chosen to map standards to the course, there will be a list of standards below the attributes. Click on the plus icon next to a standards name to select the specific standards you would like to associate with the course. For example, if your course satisfies specific educational outcomes, click on the plus icon in the Outcome section, then identify the standard you would like to associate with this course. Sometimes standards are grouped together using parent standards. Click on the Expand button to the left of a parent standard to view the children's standards. Select the standard you would like to associate with the course. You can select multiple standards. To select all the children's standards of a parent standard at the same time, select the checkbox next to that parent standard. Once you have selected your standards, click on the Save button. You can then view the standards associated by clicking on the Expand button for a standard. To associate mapping level attributes, tags, notes and related documents, click on the pencil icon for a mapped standard. You can then select the attributes you would like to associate with this mapped standard, such as if this demonstrates students' intermediate knowledge, click on the Knowledge drop-down and select the Intermediate option. Of course, the options for attributes available will depend on how you set up attributes and configure them when creating the curriculum. Click on the plus icon in the Tags section to associate a tag with the standard. You can always add new tags using the Add New Tag button or edit existing tags using the pencil icon. Be sure to click on the Apply button once you are finished. In the Notes section you can provide notes about the curriculum. Notes added in this section will not be viewed by anyone except faculty and administrators who have access to this course. For example, if you would like to provide a rationale for this mapping instance, you could do so here. You can also upload a related document to this mapping instance. Schools use this upload section to upload artifacts or samples for your accreditation site visits. You can also upload a related document such as an artifact or evidence that supports the mapping of attributes to this standard or the mapping of this standard to measures. To attach a related document to this upload instance, click on the Browse to Upload button and select the file you would like to upload. Note the supported file types and size limits below. When you are done, click on the Save button. To add additional standards, click on the Add Mapping button. To delete a previously mapped standard, click on the trash bin icon. The system will confirm you would like to disassociate this standard, enter the number on the screen, then select the Delete button. You are now ready to map the course measures added to this course to the standards assigned. Keep in mind that mapping course measures is a more micro-level activity and is used to capture more detailed information about student progress. Click on one of the course measure categories. The measures added to this category will then be displayed. Select a course measure. Just like when you were mapping the entire course, on the right-hand side of the screen you can view the attributes assigned to the measure and the standards which you have chosen to map this measure to. You can associate standards and add or edit attributes just as you did for the entire course. Before you map a course measure, the measure will be assigned a red indicator indicating that it has not been mapped yet. After you map standards, this color will change to blue, purple, or cyan depending on your chosen Exxat Prism theme. Lastly, if you would like to return to the course page, for example, if you would like to add a new measure to the measure list, click on the Go to Course Management button in the upper right-hand corner of the page. Once you are finished, return to the Curriculum section. You will then need to map every course necessary within the curriculum grid. Once you are finished, you can run reports on this mapping data to ensure your program is meeting their accreditation requirements. Click on the Mapping Reports button in the upper right-hand corner of the page. You will be taken to the Mapping Summary section where you can view helpful graphics detailing how many standards have been mapped, how many courses have been mapped, and your usage of attributes and tags across a grid. You can click on the Curriculum drop-down to run the report for other curriculum you have set up. Hover over a bar to view the full information about the standard or course. Click on the bar in the Course Attributes Usage section to view how many times the various course attributes were used. You will be taken to a new table detailing how many times each attribute option was selected. The table below will detail which courses used which attributes. For example, the elective Rotation 1 course was assigned the Faculty Evaluation attribute. In the upper right-hand side of the table, click on the Expand button to expand the table for you to view. You can also click on the Filter icon to filter the table by specific attributes and courses. Click on the Show Only Assigned Attributes button to only show attributes assigned to courses. Make your selections, then click on the Apply button to apply these filters. You can also search for specific courses using the search box as well. Lastly, if you would like to access this report offline, click on the Export button to export the table in the Excel format. Back on the Mapping Summary page, you can also select a column in the Measure Attributes section to view the distribution of measure attribute usage for that attribute. This page functions the same as the Course Attribute Usage page. Please note that the table will display all the added course measures for each course. Click on the Measure Linking Report button to view a list of courses which have linked measures/events. Click on one of these courses' names to view the measures linked to other measures or events. Below each measure, the linked measures and events will be displayed. If you realize that you need to make changes to this course's measures, click on the Go to Measures hyperlink. This will take you to the Measure section of the course page. To export this list of linked measures to be viewed offline, click on the Export button and the list will then be exported in the Word doc format. Navigate back to the Mapping Summary page and click on the Cumulative Report option. This cumulative report aggregates all of the course attributes, course measure attributes, mapping attributes, and mapped standard data for the selected courses. You will need to select the courses for which you would like included in the Excel file, and then indicate what kinds of attribute information you would like included in the report as well. Then click the Download Report button. Within the cumulative report, each course you have selected is housed in a different sheet. Every mapping instance will be displayed as a separate row within a course sheet, whether standards were mapped to the course as a whole or individual course measures. Each row displays the course number, course name, course level attributes assigned, the course measure category which the mapped measure was assigned to, the course measure that was mapped, course measure attributes assigned to the course measure, the level at which the standard was mapped, the actual standards mapped to this course and measure, and the mapping attributes assigned in this instance. In the mapping levels section, if you see the word measure, this indicates the standard was mapped to a measure in this instance. If you see the word course, this indicates the standard was mapped to the course. Now navigate back to the mapping reports section. It is also possible to run reports on specific standards. Click on a tab for a specific standard. There will be information displaying how many standards were used out of the total number of standards listed. On the right-hand side, you can also view the number of courses that have this standard mapped. Click on the bar in the Mapped Standards table to view a helpful report on which standards were mapped and how many times each standard was mapped. Click on the All Standards drop-down and select the Unmapped Standards option to view the standards that have not yet been mapped. You can also search for specific standards using the search box. Select a specific standard. On the right-hand side of the page, you can view the courses mapped to this standard. Click on the Expand button to view the course objectives mapped to the standard. Click on the Edit Mapping button if you find that you need to edit the mapping setup of this course, for example, if you realize you incorrectly mapped this standard to this course. Click on the plus icon in the Narrative section to provide a narrative for the mapping of this standard. This narrative can be helpful when meeting with your accreditation body. Click on the Save button once finished. You can customize this report by clicking on the Customize Your View button. You can choose if you would like to display narratives, measures mapped, or other measure and attribute-related information in the report. Lastly, indicate if you would like to apply this selection for the entire list of standards. Click on the Export icon to export this report in the Word or Excel format. You can choose to export the file for just this selected standard or all standards. If you select just this standard, you will also indicate if you would like to include any child standards. Click on the Export icon to export this information. Please note that the data populated in the exported file will depend on how you customize the report, so make sure you configured the report to your preferences before you export the report. Back on the Standard tab, click on the bar in the Mapped Courses graph. Here you can view the mapping information for specific courses instead of specific standards. You can click on a specific course and select the Course Measure drop-down to view the list of mapped standards. This page functions similarly to the Mapped Standards page. The only difference is, the information is aggregated based on courses instead of standards. Click on the Customize Your View to select the kinds of mapping information you would like included in the report. Click on the Export icon to export this report in the Excel or Word format. Click on the Edit Mapping button to go to the mapping page for the selected course. Back on a Standards Mapping Report page, you can also view helpful graphics displaying mapping attribute usage and mapping tags usage. Click on the Get Customized Excel Report hyperlink in the Measure Attribute Usage section to view the Mapping Level Attribute Report. The Mapping Level Attribute Report is a multi-layered report that allows you to showcase multiple things in a crosswalk format where courses, course components, and content areas are mapped to standards. You will first need to configure the report. In the Standards section in the left-hand side of the page, click on the plus icon to choose which standards to run the report on. You can then select the specific standards or select the Select All Standards hyperlink to select all of the standards at once. You can also search for a specific standard using the search box. Click on the Save button once you are finished. In the middle section of the page, you will select the courses which you would like to run your report on. Click on the plus icon, then select the courses. You can also select all of the courses by clicking on the Select All Courses hyperlink. Save once finished. In the Attributes section, select the attributes which you would like to include in your report. Lastly, in the Select Your View section, click on the With Assigned and Unassigned Attribute option if you would like to display all of the selected standards and courses. Select the With Only Assigned Attributes option to only view the instances of standards and courses with mapping attributes assigned. You can also choose the With Only Unassigned Attributes option to view the instances of courses/measures without attributes assigned. Then click on the export icon to download the mapping attribute Excel report. Within the report, the rows are the standards, and the courses are organized by column. Courses are further broken down into measures. Within each cross-section, you can view whether the selected standards have been mapped and which attributes were selected for the course or course measure. Courses are organized by academic schedule so that earlier courses appear on the left and newer courses appear on the right. This report is used to demonstrate that student learning level, knowledge, skills or other attributes graduate in complexity and depth over the course of their academic career. Usually initial courses are more theory-based and therefore the attributes should demonstrate this. As you move to the right, you should see how courses are graduating in complexity and student involvement through the attributes listed. After you have built a comprehensive curriculum, it is likely that this set of courses will be repeated in the future for future students. Instead of setting up each of these courses individually and manually setting up an additional curriculum, we offer the ability to clone your curriculum. Cloning a curriculum creates a new set of course offerings with the academic schedule specified by you. The process of cloning a curriculum is different between lockstep and non-lockstep programs. If your program is lockstep, you can clone a curriculum grid by clicking on the Clone Curriculum button. You can then provide your curriculum with a new name and description. In the cohort field, you will need to select the cohort who will be assigned this new curriculum. The newly cloned courses will be assigned this cohort. Then click Next. You will be taken to a page for you to select the courses you would like to clone to this new curriculum and edit the academic years assigned to the curriculum. Please note that you will not be able to change the academic years for individual courses, rather you can change the academic year for each set of courses assigned to a specific academic year in the parent curriculum. For example, you can change the academic year from 2024 to 2025 to 2025 to 2026 for all the courses originally assigned the academic year of 2024 to 2025. To edit the academic year, click on the pencil icon next to that academic year and select the new academic year using the academic year drop-down. To exclude a course from the new curriculum, uncheck the checkbox next to the course name. Once you are done updating academic years and excluding courses, click on the Next button. You can then choose which types of information you would like to clone. It is possible to copy course information such as the course details, prerequisites and corequisites, textbooks and other resources, evaluation criteria, course policies, faculty and staff assigned and course events. It is also possible to copy the setup of course measures and the mapping setup. If you would like to copy everything, leave all these boxes checked. If not, uncheck the boxes respective to the information you would not like to copy over to the new courses or curriculum. Be sure to click on the Save button to clone the curriculum. New courses will be created with information copied as requested when cloning the curriculum, and the new curriculum will be displayed in the list of curriculums on the left-hand side of the table. Thank you for watching our curriculum mapping tutorial. Please take the time to check out our other helpful Exxat Prism tutorials.